Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Talk on Soon. It's me Ogechi, welcome. So for this video, I'll be sharing some advice and tips I've found that has helped me work productively, to which I believe will help you work productively as we are socially isolating and socially distancing during this coronavirus outbreak. So remember to stay at home and save life. If you stay at home, you save yourself and you save another person's life, unless you have to go out for necessities, and also follow the guidelines that the government has been given. So in regards to working from home, I've been fortunate enough to still have work to do, and our managers or management has advised that we work from home. So in working from home, you may struggle on how to keep a task and be motivated to continue working from home. So this advice I'm going to give to you is there are things I've been doing that has helped me to be productive and feel achieved at the end of the day whilst working from home. So the first advice I would say is that you need to wake up 1 hour or so before your work time. So for me, I work between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So this means that I mostly wake up right now by 8 o'clock. Usual times when I have to travel for work, I usually wake up around half 6 so that I can get ready and get traveling to avoid traffic. But because we have the opportunity or luxury for sleeping longer, I choose to wake up an hour before my work time. And when I wake up, I usually pray, um, handing my day to God, and also, I guess, get dressed and shower. Sometimes I do put on makeup, and the purpose of that is that it helps me to feel like I'm going out. It helps me to feel like I'm still in that work mode, work zone. So if you are the type that wears makeup, if you're a female listening to this, definitely put on your makeup and get dressed. Now, what kind of dress do you get dressed in? I would say get dressed in similar outfit that you usually wear to work. So, for example, for my work, we are not allowed to wear jeans. But anyways, since we are working from home, I say sod it. I can wear jeans and no one is here to monitor it. So it's usually smart casual that I put on and dress up whilst I'm working from home, just so that I'm not lazing about. I find that if I'm wearing my pajamas or wearing a homebody kind of clothes that is too comfortable, I don't feel that need to work more productively. I don't know. I just don't feel like I'm at work. So my advice is, yeah, wake up early, pray. If you are the praying type, get dressed, shower as usual, put on your makeup if you have to, um, and then also make sure that you wear smart casual clothes or even work clothes, if I can say. Another thing I would say to help you work very constructively and productively at home is to make sure that your physical environment where you're going to work is tidy and clean to a good extent. Now, everyone has a different definition of tidy and clean. Let it be tidy and clean according to your own definition, but it has to help you mentally to be productive. You also have to have a designated place to work. If you are struggling for a place to work, for example, if you are working from home where you have siblings living with you or you have parents living with you, I would say if you have your own private room, work from there, but definitely do not work on your bed from your bed. So that's my advice. Get a table, get a desk, and just work from there. Then if all else fails and your bed is the only place that you can escape to work from, hey, you can always use that. So that's my advice. Make sure your physical environment is clean and tidy. For me, I work in my living room. My sister, I have kind of kicked out from the living room. So she now only comes down about 5 o'clock to watch TV or just before I start work. So I kind of migrated the living room, and I have a desk that I work from. So that has become my work desk. Whenever she sees me dressing up, she says, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm going to work." She's like, "In our living room." I'm like, "Yes, that's my workplace right now." So yeah, have a designated place that you go to work to maintain a work structure and to also maintain that mental attitude of being at work. Okay, so the next advice I will give to you is when you're working from home, it's very important that you do not turn on your TV or any other form of entertainment thinking that you can multitask. Here is my reason is that your brain, it takes your brain longer to process things that you could have processed quicker if you are watching TV and listening to whatever it may be and also doing your work at the same time. Sometimes having music in the background can help in making you feel relaxed and get into the mode of work. But I strongly advise against having anything that has words to it. Um, if you're going to listen to music, I'll say instrumental music or like radio, like classical FM, because those ones can pretty much be in the background and still help you do your work. But definitely do not try and be watching a movie whilst you are doing your work at the same time. So turn off all distractions that could make you feel distracted, and also make sure that your place of work, which at this point is my living room, that the temperature is to your liking and to your body soothing, because if it's not, you will always be distracted. Like, for example, if it's too cold, you cannot work, your hand is freezing. If it's too warm, you are too hot, you cannot work. So make sure the temperature of the room is good and conducive for you to work in. Also turn off your mobile phone. Well, I wouldn't say turn it off, but try not to use it a lot, because your mobile phone, if it's too close to you, is also a form of distraction. um However, if you use your mobile phone for work, then that's a different question. But if you do have a work mobile, I would then recommend that you turn off your mobile phone. Okay, so usually by the time I finish getting ready, it's just before 9 o'clock, maybe 5 to 9 or 10 to 9. So I come down to my workspace, which is my living room, and then I turn on my computer, and there I'm ready to work. Usually for my work, we have morning meetings which last for an hour between 9 to 10 in most cases. So after that meeting, I make sure I take a break, and this break is like having a tea break or any form of beverage I wish to have, including water. So I have a break, about 10 to 15 minutes break, because by the time everyone finished talking, your brain is mentally overloaded. So you need time to kind of relax and get your mind and your brain working again to focus on the work that you're doing. So I go back to my desk, and this time I begin to look through the work that I can do for the day. Now, I usually plan my work out a day before based on what has happened in that day, because in most cases, whatever has happened in that day always creates a work for the following day. So if you do not have that sorted out a day before, then I would advise you do it on in that morning before you start anything. After the meeting, I usually go through my caseloads, look at the things that has happened, catch up on what has happened with them, and any other email I have to catch up on. And then whilst I'm catching up on those things, I find different tasks and different little things I have to do. So maybe there is a client that is having an issue and has to be contacted. I make a plan to contact the person, or just based off on what other clinicians have written, I go back and follow up on that if it's relating to my work field. Um, Other times I create other tasks that are administrative based. So it could be simply writing out emails and responding to emails. It could be creating a document for a particular purpose. Other kind of work that I create for myself would be training, and just catching up on any outstanding training I haven't done, and also self development or self-improvement training that relates to my work area, or simply I want to do to motivate and inspire myself. So that's the things I usually do to create work. Other admin stuff also for me will be like researching on area of my work as well. So when creating this work, make sure that you write them down physically on a book in a book. My diary, my work diary is where I put both my appointments and my work task daily there, and I love my work diary. I wish I could show it to you guys without breaking confidentiality, but my work diary, no one can tell me I didn't do any work because it showcases most of the times the things I have done. Also, my work has like a system where you can put the things that you will be doing, maybe any appointments or contact with clients, and any other relevant things that relates to the work. So you have that system. So most of the time I update that system. You have to anyways if you're contacting a client. So I update that system to make sure that my manager or anyone else that wish to look into my work knows that I have been productive during the day. So writing it out in physical book is more or less for me because I really believe there is a connection between your brain and your pen, and it makes me more motivated to ensure that I complete it. Now, how do you then prioritize your task? Here's another advice in regards to being productive. Make sure you prioritize your task by looking at the ones that are urgent. For example, for my work, you have 24 hours to outcome any appointments or anything that you have done with the client. Sometimes we cannot do it at that time target and do it as soon as possible, and I try to do it at least within 48 hours if I'm so tired typing or I feel there's other things that has caught up with you. But do it as soon as you can, as that's where your company get paid, because when whoever that is going to look into the company looks at the things that you've been doing to interact with your clients. So do those ones that are very important and urgent, and the ones that really relates to your pay, because at the end of the day, if people cannot see that you're doing any work, what justifies them to pay you? Just a thought, just a thought. Sorry if my voice is sounding a bit crooked. I think I'm having a sore throat again and cough as well, but it's not due to coronavirus. Sorry. All right, I've been having this for some time, and it's almost like it stops, it starts again, it stops, it starts again. Anyways, let's continue. So when prioritizing your work though, make sure you plan on task rather than time. Now, what do I mean by plan on task rather than time? When I mean just what I mentioned before, make sure that you prioritize your task based on the ones that are important, and complete your task rather than looking at the time that you have to complete that task. Here's my thing. I am not against having a time set for one task, especially if it's trivial. But I really advise and advocate that you do allocate maybe a particular task if it's a huge task or an important task. Allocate the whole morning to it if you have to. Just allocate any amount of time that it takes for you to complete it. So for me, most of the time, upcoming appointments are often the priority. So if I couldn't finish it in the morning, I continue in the afternoon, unless I wish to switch to another task to help keep my brain motivated. Because sometimes doing the same thing for such a long time can demotivate you, and just, I don't know what to say, but it just doesn't excite your brain, kind of thing. So I switch between tasks, and but however I still try to come back to the same task. So I wouldn't say give yourself 1 hour to do this, 1 hour to do that one. No, I would say give yourself the time that is required to do it. The main key things, this is the what makes you feel achieved, is that you achieve those important tasks that you had to do. Okay, because if you prioritize them by time and then you do not achieve them by the end of the day, but you've marked it out that at least you've done something in it, you don't feel achieved. I like to go to bed feeling like I've done something for the day in regards to my work. So I make sure that I complete the tasks that I wish to complete and the ones I feel like I need to complete. Now, if I wish to leave some for the following day, then I know that is according to my own choice. It's not because I haven't done what I need to do. It's just because I feel like, okay, I've done maybe 2 to 3 appointment outcomes. The following day could be for another day. Just make sure that you finish any urgent and important task first, and then any trivial task you can leave it for a day to complete, really. So that's my thing. Follow up on your clients as well. Do not, like, if you that's if you have clients to contact. But for me, I follow up on my clients. Sometimes I call them up or send them a text message for the week to make sure that everything is still okay and they are fine. Okay. Now, for you to work productively, I'll also advise you take mini breaks. I often take mini breaks. It could be 10 to 15 minutes break, but if you give yourself maybe 1 hour of working, then give yourself 10 to 15 minutes break. Other times, some people have advised you do 25 minutes of work. For me, it doesn't work for me that much, and here's the reason. Because if I give myself 25 minutes of work, it takes my brain really 5 minutes to like recruit to get into back into work. Sometimes 10 minutes I can faff about before my brain gets into it. So that means like 10 minutes out of that 25 minutes is gone. So I give myself a stretch of 1 hour or minimum of 45 minutes to get back into things, and then give myself 10 to 15 minutes break. It's important to take mini breaks because it helps refresh your brain, um, and also your mind, anything else that needs to be refreshed. I usually take my break similar to what I do for work, around 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. Take my lunch break and get back into work. So after this break, again, I continue with my work, um, and then complete anything that I feel like needs to be completed. But try not to stay in your work too long. Remember, take breaks, sit down, just look out. I mean, for me right now it's very sunny and the sky is looking beautiful. Just meditate, practice mindfulness if you have to. Just anything that helps you really to kickstart your work again. And these are the things I believe that will help you feel productive and feel achieved. By 5 o'clock, I often feel like I've done most of the things I have to do. If I tick out about, if I had 5 tasks and I ticked out about 3 of them, which I deemed important, I'm happy. Like, we can definitely close up for the day. You also know when your brain stops being too productive. For me, I wouldn't lie to you, like, this is the truth, like honest truth most of the time, or sometimes, not most of the time, sometimes. My brain sometimes switches off by 4 o'clock. I don't understand. Between 4 or 4:30. And that usually depends on what I've been doing for that day. Because I don't know. That's I know I finish at 5, but usually my brain switches off then. So I use that opportunity to do any menial task that didn't require too much concentration or brain power to complete. So, and that's my routine, and that's my advice on how to be productive and how to feel achieved whilst working from home. So I hope this advice helps you. Share this video with anyone that you think it would help, and please support my channel by subscribing and liking the video. Thank you so much. Signing off. Talk on soon.